Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another Hands Down DFS video. We're already at the halfway point of the season, entering into week 9. And first of all, apologies for not getting our full breakdown video up last week. I was traveling. Scotty did a great job on the final picks, and I think our lineup got its, cash and finally had a good lineup after missing out the last couple of weeks. So good job to Scotty there. But anyway, getting back into the groove in our week 9 video here with Scotty. Scotty, what's up?
Dude, I love Michael Pittman. I have a huge man crush on the dude, and it's exciting times to have him in your lineup. That was awesome being able to get that working. So definitely big Michael Pittman fan, big AJ Brown fan as well. Excited about moving into this week. Not excited that we're past the halfway mark, but it's okay. We don't have to talk about that.
Yeah, on our stack, we went with the Hurts, Goddard, and Gainwell stack, and that was it sucked, but literally every other guy that we added to the lineup went off, so got into cash, so that was good. But looking forward to week 9, we're going to change things up a little bit from our usual. We're going to go through quicker and just give you our top picks, our top pay up spot, and our top value spot of each position, and then build a lineup as normal. We're just kind of going to try to make this a quicker video instead of normal hour-long videos. So let's get right into it, starting with QBs. Scotty, who are you liking paying up for in the quarterback position in week 9?
As a Steelers fan, this hurts unbelievably bad, but I really like Lamar Jackson. I think there's been a lot of kind of just moving off of him, thinking that, maybe the league has figured him out. Minnesota doesn't have a great defense by any stretch of the imagination. We all saw what Cooper Rush did against them. So I really like Lamar Jackson here, coming in only at 7,300. You're going to get a discount over some of the top guys. And if you still look at the fantasy points per game, he's still second on this list. So I like him, especially when you have guys like Aaron Rodgers out, and then Kyler Murray, who is questionable. I think he could be a really, really good play if he does play Kyler Murray. But that questionable tag does scare me a little bit. What about you?
Yeah, and you bring up Kyler Murray because I'm going to go with Josh Allen as my top play, but I do really agree with Kyler Murray, especially looking at the ownership projections, and he's projected as only the 13th highest owned quarterback. And, that injury designation does scare me. He's got a bad ankle. He really hasn't done that well since week 2. Hasn't had a high ceiling game, but I think he could be sneaky. But just to play it safe, I'm going to take the boring pick and play the best quarterback on the slate in Josh Allen at 8,200 versus the worst defense on the slate. And, well, maybe not the worst, but one of the worst in Jacksonville. Josh Allen has put together 3 consecutive good weeks. Granted, they haven't been against the best defenses, but Jacksonville's not the best defense, so it'll work. I think he'll easily get you to that 30-point mark. You're probably looking for closer to 35 at this price, but I think Josh Allen's going to be a fine play, especially in cash, if you're going to pay up for quarterback.
For sure.
How about down in the kind of mid to value section? Is there anyone you like down there?
Yeah, I'm going all the way down into the dumpster, but it's really somebody who this isn't going to be a surprise to anybody. With Aaron Rodgers news breaking that he's not going to be playing, I really like Jordan Love. The Kansas City defense is going to be a very, very bad defense, as we've seen over and over again. Jordan Love's going to get the start. He's at 4,400. You like his points per game that you've seen so far this year at negative 0.3 and 1.72. Gives you a lot of confidence going into this one. But no, what you're just gonna the negative 0.3, by the way, was just he kneeled the ball 3 times, and so that's that. But I really like Jordan Love this week. I think he was a first round pick just in the 2020 draft, so he definitely can play well. He's got the skill set. We've only heard good things out of him from the training camp. Again, this isn't a surprising pick to anybody, but it is a pick that I think we're going to talk about the running backs here in a second. There's a lot of good ones at the top, and to be able to get your quarterback at less expensive than pretty much anybody else on your lineup, I think, and still be able to have a 20-point. I see it really as a 20-point floor for him, because I do believe that he's been given a lot of good opportunities. Devontae Adams is going to be back for him. He's going up against the bad defense, so I really, really like what I see out of Jordan Love. Even if they do get Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon in the passing game or involved, they can do a lot of that out of the passing game as well with kind of those touch passes. So I love Jordan Love here.
Yeah, he's a guy that I think a lot of people thought would even be starting the season for Green Bay, and that's kind of saying something after sitting for a full year. So I see no reason why you can't at least get you to that 20-point mark or so against Kansas City. For my value, I'm going to go up to Tyrod Taylor coming off the IR this week against Miami, all the way up at $5,000. He's only played 2 games this season, but I mean, Houston didn't look bad in those 2 games. They actually won, week 1 against Jacksonville. So I think he definitely has that floor. 16 and a half points on 11 throws is, it's not a high score, but on 11 throws, that's a really good score. And now he's going against Miami, who has just been atrocious defensively, and we've just been able to pick on this year because they are allowing both opposing running backs and quarterbacks to just have their way against them. So Taylor coming off the injury, I didn't pick him for my wide receiver, so just spoiler, but Brandon Cooks, I know the Texans said they're basically trying to build a team around Brandon Cooks. And he's only
you like to hear that.
Yeah, he's only at like $6,100. So if you like the Tyrod Taylor Brandon Cook stack, it's super cheap. Again, similar to Jordan Love, I think Tyrod Taylor has a really safe floor at around at least 16 points, but I'd have to imagine he gets up to like 18 to 20 as his floor, and could probably get you up between 20 and 30 if he has a good game against Miami. So he's my value play for quarterbacks.
Yeah, and I hate it because the Xavier Howard myth still exists in my brain that you don't play the number 1 wide receiver against the Dolphins defense, but that just
hasn't been
really
a thing this year. Nope.
And it's just a lot of other people are probably going to be thinking that as well. So you're right. That's a great pick. Could get some leverage there. Love the Cooks call out with the elite Tyrod Taylor thrown to him. How about running backs? Who's your top play for running back?
There's so many good plays I like at running back. I mean, really going down the list: Kamara, Eckler, Aaron Jones, even Ezekiel Elliott. If you're confident in McCaffrey, I think he's got a good matchup. So there's a lot of guys I like. I'm going to go with Nick Chubb, however, kind of the cheaper of the pay up spots at 6,700. I mean, this is his. He played last week, obviously, with Kareem Hunt out, but this is going to be his first week back against a very average to below average defense. Yeah, exactly. He played the Steelers, and you're going to have a hard time finding running backs doing well against the Steelers in general. So coming back against Cincinnati without Kareem Hunt, I think he, before both their injuries, you see, even with both of them in the game, Chubb was averaging around 20 touches. So I think he's going to get back up to that volume, get to that 20 to 25 range. And I think now that Odell's gone, he can also kind of get worked in the passing game more because, that traditionally that's the Kareem Hunt role, right? Kareem Hunt comes in the passing game. And, D'Ernest Johnson did fine and when he replaced those 2 guys, but I think they're going to get
Chubb. He forced a touchdown, which sucks.
Sorry?
D'Ernest Johnson got a touchdown, which
sucks
for
right.
Nick Chubb owner.
Yeah. But I think they will work Chubb more into the passing game than they had before. So I think he's got, even more upside now that he is without Kareem Hunt. It has a better matchup here. So I like him a lot this week. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, I like Nick Chubb. It was interesting to watch the Steelers game last week. Obviously, I watched every snap of that as a Steelers fan. And they literally just dared Baker Mayfield to make a throw, and Baker didn't. And so the only thing that would scare me is, I mean, the Bengals aren't necessarily built to stop the run. That's not necessarily what they do best. They're more their secondary is kind of the strong suit of that defense, and so it'll be an interesting matchup to see. If they have to load the box, they definitely have the corners to put on islands against the wide receivers, but their front line just isn't as menacing as you got Cam Hayward in the Steelers. So. Quick little brag on my Steelers. But for who I like on the running backs, I'm going against Austin Eckler. Last week I played him. He got 24 points for me. It was just kind of nice just having Eckler in there. I was like, I know he's going to get points.
Yeah.
I know he's going to do well. He's going to get some catches. He had the one bad game against Baltimore, but the Chargers just kind of laid an egg that game. I think they're going to come out pissed that they lost to the Patriots and to the Baltimore. Back-to-back weeks. I mean, you even had a bye week in there, which was crazy that they lost to New England after a bye week. So Philadelphia is going to give up a lot of points to running backs historically, and so it's just nice to have have that top running back in there who's going to be able to get involved in the running and the passing game. It's kind of like having Jonathan Taylor. If any of you guys played him on Thursday night, it was just like, yeah, this guy's gonna be good. He's gonna get you a lot of points. He's gonna be involved. You're not gonna have to worry about why isn't my guy getting carries? Why isn't my guy getting touches? You got last week you had 10 targets and 11 rushing attempts out of Eckler, which is awesome. And so he had 24 points with a touchdown. And I think he can probably do that again this week. I like him to score a touchdown. I also like him to kind of stay that high in the passing game as well. So definitely love Eckler this week.
Yeah, I think Eckler has basically become the safest play in DFS, like more so than Kamara, more so than McCaffrey. I guess Derrick Henry has been fairly safe, but just, I mean, every week he's getting the rushes and he's getting the targets. Kamara, it's kind of, obviously he has that capability, but it's kind of matchup dependent. McCaffrey can go down with an injury at any point. Eckler's just been such a safe running back play every single week. So yeah, definitely like him here as well. Moving down to the value, I guess my play for this value isn't so much value. It's kind of more in that mid range. But I think Eli Mitchell at 5,800 is kind of going to be sneaky. I mean, he's had back-to-back 100-yard games against Chicago and Indiana.
He can play football.
He can play football. Yeah, I'm telling you. I mean, the dude's back-to-back 100-yard games, back-to-back scores against two solid defenses. Indy's definitely has a good defense. Chicago kind of maybe not as good this year as they have been the past few years.
But the defensive line is good.
Yeah, but right, they're still able to be productive on defense. And the fact that Mitchell's getting 137 yards and a touchdown, I mean, that's great. So 5,800, his prices come up. He also has that questionable tag. I think he played practice Friday, so I feel like he's gonna play. Obviously we want to monitor that, but yeah, again, I think with the price coming up against a tougher defense, just in general a tougher defense, I think the ownership's gonna kind of fall away from him. So I really like him as a leverage play. I played him last week in a couple lineups, and it was a great play again. He just doesn't carry a lot of ownership for some reason. I don't know why, because the dude's a beast. So yeah, he's my value / mid-range play.
Yeah, and I like that play a lot. I mean, the news that Jeff Wilson might be coming back, but even at that, they've said that Mitchell would be the guy as long as he's healthy. And so I don't think it hurts to be able to spell him a little bit here and there. I mean, the lack of passing game that you get out of Mitchell obviously hurts, but I mean, if you're going to get 20 carries or 18 carries, it doesn't really matter because you're going to be able to run the ball pretty well. And so, yeah, I like that play. For my value play, going a little bit against your theory of who you picked for quarterback, because I know you picked Josh Allen, I'm going to go with Zach Moss. I think the only way that the Buffalo Bills lose this game, and I don't mean that on the scoreboard. I don't think there's any way they lose this game on the scoreboard. But as far as losing this game coming into Monday is if Josh Allen gets hurt, right? Mm-hmm. If Josh Allen gets hurt against Jacksonville, it's like, what were we even doing? Why did we even have him? We probably could have played Mitchell Trubisky and beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. And because of that, I think they're going to lean on the running game a little bit more. They're going to let Zach Moss, they're going to let Devin Singletary. I like Zach Moss more. I just think he's a better player as far as actually being able to do more with his carries. I think they're going to just kind of lean on that a little bit more. That being said, when they just dunked on the Dolphins earlier this year, this last game was a little bit closer, but earlier in the year, it was a bloodbath, and Josh Allen was in there for most of the game. So that could be totally wrong. McDermott hasn't necessarily showed any kind of pulling the punches so far, but I mean, man, you have a chance at the Super Bowl, you have a chance at winning the AFC. The only way you lose this game figuratively is if Josh Allen gets hurt. So I would like for them to, lean on that running game a little bit more. I think they do that. And against Jacksonville, who has been basically a wide open door for running backs, just to run through. I like Zach Moss.
Yeah, and to your point, in that first game against the Dolphins, even though Josh Allen was in there the whole game, it was the running backs kind of pounding them down. I'm looking at the carries right now. Singletary had 13 carries, Moss had 8, but they both had Singletary had 17 points, Moss had 18 points, 16 fantasy points. So it was the running backs doing the bulk of the work in that game. So yeah, I think you see a similar game script here where come late third, fourth quarter, you see a lot of Zach Moss and a lot of Devin Singletary. So think both of those guys are definitely playable, but yeah, definitely like Zach Moss more than Singletary. Before we go over the wide receivers, I wanted to bring up our friends DG Fantasy, Daily Grind Fantasy, who we've joined as a kind of affiliate content creator. Go check out their site. We'll have a link in the description, or you can use the promo code HandsDown, and you get $5 off your first month. And what they provide is basically projections for every sport. Whether you're NFL or NBA. I mean, I know those are the two main ones, but they also got NHL and going down the line. But then also you get a lot of the packages come with a credit to Fantasy Cruncher, which you can use to optimize your lineups and enter those GPPs. And you get access to their Discord, which is pretty cool. They got a good community over there and kind of get some ideas from a bunch of different content creators. So go check them out and tell them we sent you and help us. So let's move on over to wide receivers now. And kind of the opposite of running backs for me, where there's a lot of high-priced running backs that I like. There's not a lot of high-priced wide receivers I love. Is there anyone that stands out to you?
Because before this, obviously we've talked and we do the notes and we have kind of who we are going to go with. I originally told you Jamar Chase. I'm going to zag on you mid, just like I wasn't expecting that quick promo in there. I knew that was coming. I didn't know just when in the episode. But I'm gonna go with Devontae Adams. I was talking about how much I love Jordan Love, and I sold myself on the Green Bay passing game. So I'm gonna go with Devontae Adams. He didn't have necessarily the best game last week, only 19 points. But I think this is a game where the Chiefs don't have a number one cornerback to stop Adams. I mean, really nobody does. And I think he's going to be a nice little blanket, especially with Tunyon out for the Packers. Typically, you see that tight end get more usage whenever you get a rookie quarterback in there. I think Devontae Adams is just going to be that safety net for him. Looking at Jamar Chase, because I said that's who we're going to go with before it, I think Jamar Chase is going to have an awesome game. I think he's going to really crush it. But I want to make sure that I'm stack eligible for my lineup. So I'm going to go with Devontae Adams.
So are you selling yourself on the Green Bay passing game, or are you selling yourself on anybody against the Kansas City passing defense? Just to clarify. Is it
passing defense? I'm going to go against anybody.
Okay,
against
just I wasn't sure if you really loved the Jordan Love. Wasn't sure if you really loved the Jordan Love Adams connection, or if you really love playing anyone against Kansas City's passing defense.
Well, I mean, if Jordan Love gets 20 points, right? Who's it going to go to? My bet's got to be Adams, because I don't like the Lazard King, but
Randall Cobb, no.
Who do you got?
My top play as far as pay up wide receiver goes is down at 6,400, DJ Moore. And I know Darnold won't be playing this week, so it does kind of scare me with him out. But he is third in the league in in targets. I don't think that changes. He's still the main guy on the Panthers that is going to be getting the bulk of the volume and the bulk of the catches, I would have to imagine, even with McCaffrey coming back. So at 6,400 for a guy that's averaged you 10-ish targets, has a floor of like 7 that you see there in Week 5 versus Philadelphia, but again is likely getting around 10. I just think he's a safe play. I don't think he's breaking open the slate, because I think we'll get to it when we talk about defenses, but I think both of these defenses are capable of not allowing the other team to score. So I don't think he's going to have multiple scores and get you like 40 points. But I think at 6,400, you're kind of getting a guy similar to Brandon Cooks, that every week you're going to see him get, 6-7 catches or something like that, and maybe get 60, 70 yards. And, that's a safe like 13 points right there. So I don't love DJ Moore. I don't really love anyone at the top of this wide receiver slate, but I think he's a very safe play at 6,400.
Yeah, no, I think he's definitely got some upside. I mean, it is hard saying safe when you see that 9 and 8 points, but I think you got to go somewhere. Jonathan Jones for New England is going to be out of this game. Stephon Gilmore started for the Panthers last week and looked amazing, and I'm sure everybody in New England is like, I kind of wish we had that guy still. So yeah, no, I mean, the fact that the secondary for New England speed up a little bit that's a solid spot.
How about down in the value range? Is there anyone super cheap you're looking at wide receiver if we want to kind of fit in multiple high-priced running backs?
Yeah, I mean, I hate this because I went with Lamar Jackson for my top quarterback, and then now I'm going with Jarvis Landry for my top wide receiver. And as a Steelers fan, I'm like, what are you doing, you idiot? But obviously, we have the monkey off the back with no more Odell Beckham there, just as far as kind of taking away those targets. And Jarvis Landry is going to be somebody who was solid. He got 10 targets last week. He had a couple drops. Could have had a bigger game. Also had the fumble. So I think you see the 11 points. You're like, oh well, Odell Beckham didn't really play that last week. I think a lot of that is because he just didn't play very well. And I think this week he plays better against Cincinnati. I was talking earlier about Cincinnati having a better secondary than as far as the run stopping. So I do think Chubb gets a lot of work here. But then that does open up the play action game if we are. Or I just said we talk about the Browns, golly. If the Browns are able to run the ball effectively, then I think you get a lot of play action out of that. And Jarvis Landry is usually their guy there in the slot who can make something happen there. So I really like Jarvis Landry. You can also look at guys like Higgins or maybe Donovan Peoples-Jones if he's available. But I really like Jarvis Landry even more if Donovan Peoples-Jones is not able to go in this game as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Peoples-Jones doesn't play. Landry is a great play. And just for the record, I think we're going to keep you saying we about the Browns, and I might send that to your father, and you might be living on the street in the next couple months.
Well, my mom's a Browns fan, so there's a little. I'm originally I was born in Cleveland. Dad grew up suburb outside of Pittsburgh, so I have some family who's Browns. So
okay, fine.
There's that a little bit there.
For my value play, it's got to be. I mean, we lost Odell Beckham this past week, and we also lost Henry Ruggs, unfortunately. I mean, just kind of devastating, brutal news. But I mean, it opens up Hunter Renfrow to really step in. He already kind of has been the number one wide receiver on the team, but now I don't think there's going to be any question that he's the number one wide receiver on the team at 4,800. I mean, he's been week after week safe, like that 13 fantasy point average that he has. That's like a true average. Like the standard deviation on that is like 1. He gets 13 points like every single week. And now I think this week finally without Ruggs and kind of, plus you're getting the Giants coming off a short week. They played Monday Night Football. You got Vegas coming off a bye week. I think it's going to be a game where Carr can throw the ball a lot, and I think you're going to see Renfrow getting most of those targets. You could also go Waller, who's finally, I guess, fully healthy now. I know he's been dealing with some injuries, but I mean, really any of the Oakland, wow, throwback. Any of the Las Vegas pass catchers, I think you can go. Brian Edwards is at 4,100. I think he'll be seeing a solid 6 to 7 targets. Zay Jones 3,000. He's normally a guy that gets like one catch a game, but he should be on the field for over 50% of the offensive snaps now. So Renfro's definitely your safest pick and probably your guy with the high ceiling. But I think if you want to get sneaky and throw any of the other two guys, Edwards or Jones, into a GPP, I think there's reason to do that.
How do you not love that smile? Come on, Zay Jones. All right. Well, we said this was gonna be a quicker video. I don't know if we necessarily stayed true to that. So let's power through the tight end and the defense, and let's get a lineup together. Who do you like for your top tight end play?
Got to be my boy Mike Gesicki, just with the Devontae, well, just that wide receiver core in general not staying healthy, but Devontae Parker played one game back on the IR, so Gesicki is going to be the number 2 wide receiver again, right behind Waddle, 4,900. I mean, you saw when they had both Parker and Fuller out, right there in those like weeks 4 through 7 games, he was getting 6, 7, 9, 8 targets, averaging around 20 points. So I think we can expect that again against a pretty bad Houston defense. Who's your top tight end?
Well, I mean, looking at this too really quick, looking at bad defenses. Bad defense Atlanta 21. Bad defense Jacksonville 22. Bad defense Vegas. They're bad. But you got 18. So yeah, love the Gesicki play. My top pick. It's weird because we say our top picks and we're not going with any of the top guys, but I like Dallas Goedert. I think he's just been somebody who's been consistent. Last week, obviously, we were expecting him to have a little bit higher of a game against Detroit. Turns out the team that hadn't run the ball the entire game gets 4 touchdowns from their running backs, none of them being Kenneth Gainwell. So I like Dallas Goedert this week to kind of have a little bit more of a competitive game. Maybe Philadelphia's even playing from behind, so they're not just running the ball. And he gets more usage than just the 7 targets. And I say 7 targets is a lot. And I think he could even surpass that number this week against the Chargers.
Yeah, again, Goddard's going to be safe every week. Who do you like for value in tight end?
Yeah, for the value, I mean, we see Dawson Knox is out here, so we're going to go with his backup. We're going to go with Sweeney. Again, going up against Jacksonville, we just saw what Gesicki was able to do against Jacksonville. Last week, he was able to have 4 targets. I mean, look at that man. It's the face of a winner. And so he has been able to, even with Knox playing, he was able to get 7 and 6 points. So I like him to, get an increase. I mean, we obviously don't see the targets there, but I think he's going to be getting all, or most, if not all, of Dawson Knox's targets. So, like Sweeney here, who's your value play?
Got to go with Conklin. I think he's probably one of my favorite guys on the slate in general in terms of just price, but price to like his point average. I really like the Vikings passing game this week, and Conklin's kind of been part of that each and every week. I mean, look at the last several weeks. He's gotten as high as 8 targets, 7 targets there, and I think Baltimore we can kind of pick on against tight ends. They are the worst team in the league against tight ends, and Conklin has been the third most targeted guy on the Vikings. So I think they can even work him up to maybe, to see those 8 targets again. And he's got that 20-point ceiling that he had in week 3 against Seattle. So I think for $3,000, a guy who I don't think it's unreasonable for him to get another 20-point game. So really like Conklin this week, as I'm going to be playing him a lot.
No, yeah, I agree. I think that's a solid play. And then moving over to the defenses, I'll just quickly run through mine. I think the Patriots and Carolina game, I think it's going to be unbelievably low scoring. I'm going to take the under on that game. So I like Patriots defense as the buy up, but then I also like the Panthers as my value play at 2,600. You got Stephon Gilmore revenge game. Not necessarily that it's going to matter because I don't think you have a wide receiver one on New England. But I do think that they're going to be able to get that game slow. I think both teams are going to kind of use their running backs with McCaffrey coming back, and then also Damian Harris kind of starting to figure it out a little bit. I think that's a low-scoring game there. So those are my 2 plays. Who do you like on the defensive side?
Yeah, for my pay-up spot, I'm going to go with the Cowboys at 3,300. I know we were trying to figure out if Trevon Diggs is playing. I think he is going to play, but, I mean, they don't have the greatest defense in terms of points allowed, but, I mean, they're coming away with turnovers each and every week, it seems like. I mean, they had a streak of like they started the first 5 weeks of the season with 2 interceptions. So I like that. And I just think Denver's offense is just not good in general. So I think they're a good play. And then for punt, I'm going to go down to the Minnesota Vikings at 2,200. I mean, I know you like a lot of pieces of Baltimore, or mainly just Lamar Jackson, but I know you like Baltimore. So, but the Vikings have only allowed 20 points or less in 4 of their last 5 games, and they also have 14 sacks over their last 4 games. So it seems like their defensive line has been able to be pretty productive, especially against Dallas, who has one of the better offensive lines in the league, managed 3 sacks. So I mean, I think you're getting a pretty good floor if they can pick up a couple sacks, and if they can stay on track of only allowing 17, 14, 17. Well, kind of skip over that 28 there, but 20 points. I mean, I think
confirmation bias.
It's 100% confirmation bias, but I mean, I think you can kind of see them get at least like 6 points or so at 2,200, and when you're punting defense, that's really what you're asking for. So I'll be playing them.
3x.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, let's build a lineup. Who are we going for with quarterback? Are we going to do the Jordan Love experiment, or are we going to do...
I mean, I like combining Josh Allen and Jordan Love into like one medium salary player.
Super Saiyan. You get Derek Carr. You can combine those two.
that turned me off a lot more than them. I think if we want to fit multiple high price running backs, like I think we're going to, we can go value and take Jordan Love this week.
Let's go. Love that. Okay. Then running backs, we're just gonna do it.
I think we can. Yeah, I think we
backs?
could put both of our top running backs in there and take some value elsewhere. So throw in Eckler, throw in Chubb. Do we need to stack Adams? I feel like you almost, we talked about it, especially against Kansas City's defense. You almost have to.
Man, do we? Yeah, Yeah, I mean that's the hard thing. I think that's why I picked Jamar Chase originally. Is if you're gonna go with Eckler and Chubb, do you go with 82,000 or 8,200 on a wide receiver? There's a lot. I wish I trust anybody else on the receiving game, so I think with that we'll go with Adams, and I think we have some good value wide receiver spots that we both like.
Yeah, I mean, either Renfro or Brian Edwards, I think is fine. Renfro is going to be safer, and I know our average remaining salary is about 40, 45, 60, but I don't think 40. I think 4,800 is still going to be a really good price for Renfro, who should be getting a lot of targets. But if we're trying to throw this and really get jiggy with it into a GPP, we can go Edwards or Zay Jones and take even more salary relief. But we do that knowing that they have basically like a 2-point floor, whereas Renfro's is like 10. So
yeah.
Who
do you think Brad? Do you know who Bradbury's going to be matched up against? Is he can more Edwards, I would think, right, than Renfro?
I do not have it up, but
Gotcha.
I trust your defensive knowledge more than I trust mine. So,
gotcha.
But
well, I mean, he usually just goes against whoever that wide receiver one is, and I don't know. Like it's weird, like Renfro kind of working in the slot. I don't know if you say, you know what, let's put our best guy on Renfro.
Right.
That just doesn't seem like something that you would do. So
I was able to pull it up. They have him on Zay Jones, but I don't know if I believe that.
Okay. Well, if we're gonna put him on Zay Jones, then I like Brian Edwards here.
Okay. I'm good with Brian Edwards.
Okay. And then final wide receiver spot for
who was your value play again?
It was Jarvis Landry. I like Landry here. I mean, being at 5,000 kind of hurts. 5,100 actually, to be exact. Maybe we go with. Last week we had a lot of success, with we did Pittman, but then we also brought it back with AJ Brown. Obviously we're not going to go Tyreek Hill. Is there somebody on the Chiefs that we like as far as a second play there?
I mean, Hardman's 3,900. That's fairly cheap for their number 2 wide receiver. And I mean, Kelsey really hasn't been doing, the work this season that he did last season. So Hardman kind of is getting the same amount of targets as Kelsey's been getting every week. Granted, Kelsey's been more productive with them, but I mean, I think Hardman's a reasonable play. I don't mind that at all.
I was going to check Pringle, but I mean, where you go 7 targets to 2 targets for only a 200 difference. We go hard.
And there's also guys like KJ Osborne, who we started the season playing a lot.
We could do KJ. I know you like maybe we'll look for him in the flex. Maybe see
we'll stick with Hardman for now. We'll see what we're dealing with, because I think we've got some good value tight ends we can pick from between Conklin and Sweeney. Defense. I know you don't like the Vikings against Baltimore, but we can go with the Panthers against New England, and I think that's fine, and they're pretty cheap also.
Cool. So here we are, flex 9,200. Look at us.
We made it work.
we went way too cheap on it.
Why don't we upgrade Edwards to Renfro? We could. Well, yeah. Let's upgrade Edwards to Renfro, and I think we should be left with basically still anyone that we want, except Tyreek Hill, right?
Let's see.
Dirt filter on Las Vegas still.
Thank you. Josh Allen, throw him in the flex.
Okay, well, I mean, that's still. I do also really like Kamara.
Yeah.
If we do go Tyreek Hill, I would probably take Hardman out of the lineup and try to find someone else. I think we could also do that.
If we do that, what is our number at? 4,500. Singletary. Ouch.
Yeah, well, Singletary, but I mean, let's see.
Do Hardman and
Kamara.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think that's
do we want to see if we do something with the 300 or leave it at that?
I mean, can we get the Panthers? Well, I don't know. I like the Panthers defense also. What else can we do with Hardman? Maybe that's the only other guy I can think of, like maybe upgrading, but I don't know if there's much to do up there. Maybe Rondale
Moore. Edwards, if we like that.
I wish Ayuk was just doing better this season. I think he's a great player, but he just hasn't been doing anything. Bateman.
Let's try this. I think this is a mistake, but we're going to try it anyway.
I still don't know if that leaves us with a lot. We love the Lazard King, but no.
We could double stack the...
No, I think we stick with the Panthers defense, and then, I don't mind. Between Hardman, Bateman, and who was the other guy we saw there? Rondale Moore. I think those would be the three plays I would consider kind of in this range. I don't mind just sticking with Hardman. I think. But here's my question: does Kansas City get up by a lot in this game, and then stop throwing the ball? Like I don't know. Do we expect Jordan Love to keep this game close?
I
know
so.
you do. He's our quarterback. I would hope so, but
I could be wrong. But I think so.
Then let's go with Hardman because he's our. It's kind of the game stack, right? Have Jordan Love and Adams and bring it back with Hardman. So. There is
as soon
our
as there's any
lineup.
kind of injury move, we'll flip it and change it to something else.
Yeah. So follow us at HandsDownDFS on Twitter, and we'll post this lineup Sunday morning. This lineup or whatever lineup we pivot to based on any injury news. So make sure you follow us there. And if you liked this video and like this kind of quicker format, which I would say quicker, it was still about half an hour, but let us know in the comments and hit that subscribe button. Before we close it out and wish you good luck in your Week 9 contest, anything else, Scotty?
No, I think that's it. I'm excited about getting more into this. We also are going to maybe be talking more sports betting in general, as that has officially been opened up in Florida. So maybe we'll do some of that as well. If you let us know if that's something that you guys would like, kind of more in these videos, is maybe we do these quicker lineups. But then we also talk about kind of games, which way we like on the line. So that could be an option. Let us know if that would be something y'all are interested in.
Like that. All right. Again, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for all our content. And go visit DG Fantasy and use that link in the description to get $5 off. We'll catch you guys in Week 10. See ya.
See ya.